I imagine who would stop that? I mean, what if I put an ad on Craigslist and I'm selling my AR-15, $1,000 or best offer?
Okay, that's fine. However, that's a person-to-person sale. That's completely legal. It's legitimate. But there is no.
Is that the loophole he's trying to close? That?
Well, he's claiming that 1 in 30 were criminals. If you're selling me person-to-person, there was no background check, and you wouldn't know if I was a criminal. So it's absurd that he would even throw these things out like this. You wouldn't even know that sale went down.
Right. Well, isn't that something that the liberals would be trying to fix?
The ATF came out this week. Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms and explosives. ATFE, I guess they're calling themselves now.
Okay. All right.
They have
the LGBT.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding.
They have rewritten their rules and a statute, and basically, I was going to read it all off, but it's so dry, it's so pathetic. What this says, the ATF is now coming out and saying, and this was right after Obama's speech, that if you are going to sell a gun, you must be licensed to sell a gun, fingerprint check, background check. You must do all of that. Well, but
here's the problem.
Hold on. So they're saying that, Carrie, you nor I could sell a gun unless we go get a license, which is expensive. It's very expensive.
Okay, so we're kind of stuck with our gun.
Well, no, but you couldn't. Yeah, but if I want to trade or sell or do whatever as a private individual, can't do that. Not only can you not do that, but it also states that if you make a weapon in your garage at your house, you better have a license.
Okay, so then what is it preventing, though?
Well, they're saying that everybody must have anybody who wants to deal with guns or touch a gun or sell a gun or make a gun, if you want to sell it or make it, you must have a license. Well, that's pure insanity. That's pure insanity because I have the right, under the Constitution, the Second Amendment, I have the right to go in my garage and buy pieces of guns or even make a gun. I'm a machinist. I can make the parts of a gun. Make that gun in my house, put it all together. Well, now, if you order the parts and pieces off the internet to make your own gun, you better have a license or you're going to prison. Prison.
Seems a little bit overbearing.
Prison?
Yeah.
And you'll be a felon and never be allowed to own a gun ever again for the rest of your life. And you'll be on the blacklist.
That is kind of it wasn't too long ago that being a felon was not a disqualifying thing to purchase a firearm. And if you take the Second Amendment at its word, it would be illegal to prohibit a felon.
Right.
Somebody could murder you or murder somebody with a gun, be found guilty, serve his time, get out of prison, be a felon for life because of that conviction, and go and purchase a firearm after he got out of prison.
So are you saying that that's a good thing that Obama's coming down saying felons can't have guns?
Here's the problem with having...
How's that guy going to protect himself?
That's one thing. Here's the other thing. This is a much, much, much worse problem. If we can take your guns from people who are felons, then all we have to do is make felons out of the people we want to take the guns from.
Well, they made it easier. They said that if you are on Social Security, meaning you're 65 and older.
Okay.
Actually, I think it's 62 and a half. You might even be able to withdraw Social Security starting at 59 and a half or something like that. It's a real weird number. So 62 and a half, you start pulling up Social Security. If your doctor knows...
Oh, that's a new one, isn't it?
Knows that you do not handle your own finances.
What? What does that
You will be labeled as incompetent to own a gun.
What, because you missed a bill?
No, you don't handle your own money.
What
your own finances.
What does somebody else? What if I hire H&R Block? Does that qualify? That qualifies for me to be unable to handle my own finances.
Well, a doctor can report you now. Under this new executive order, doctors can report you for whatever reason they want.
Whatever happened to the patient?
HIPAA.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. Private. Yeah. Patient.
Confidentiality.
Yeah, no. Well, but it's a threesome now.
A threesome.
It's a menage, and the government's involved.
So what's? So the pillow talk involves a third party, and by party we mean a lot of people. So now, when we talk about secrets that are kept between you and, let's say, your lawyer, you
there's the next step,
or between you and your doctor. That does not exclude the government now.
Well, yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
So doctors can also report mentally ill patients
to
the FBI under this new gun control law. Now, when they say mentally ill, it's a broad range, meaning...
It's probably ambiguous on purpose.
Right, correct. That's what they do. The medications that are out on the market... The side effects may include death,
right,
delusions, suicide. How many times have you heard that one?
Oh, every time. Every single...
If you take that medication, doctor has to report you as possible suicide.
Just because you take it?
Right.
No.
Well, you could possibly be suicidal.
Well, clearly the
because you're on the medication. Yes, on the medication.
Well, by definition... What do you mean I'm suicidal? I'm not suicidal. Are you taking this drug? It says right on the label that you're probably suicidal.
So you're like, Brian, why are you all harping on this suicidal thing? I'm not harping on it. Obama is.
Oh, no.
Check out this sound clip.
Dr. King's words, we need to feel the fierce urgency of now.
Fierce urgency.
Because people are dying.
People are dying.
And the constant excuses for inaction no longer do. No longer suffice. That's why we're here today. Not to debate the last mass shooting, but to do something to try to prevent the next one.
Of course. I
had to cut it all out.
Prove that the vast majority of Americans, even if our voices aren't always the loudest or most extreme, care enough about a little boy like Daniel to come together.
Even he can't do it with a
take
straight face.
Common sense steps to save lives and protect more of our children.
What about the children? What about the children?
He referenced this kid, Daniel, at the beginning of the speech to some guy standing off stage. He's like, yeah, we talked about Daniel, And they brought up he brought up Daniel like 3 times. Who's Daniel? And he didn't tell the backstory of who Daniel was.
You got to at least tell the backstory.
Right.
That is weird. I mean...
Did he slipped on some awesome sauce?
I'm not surprised, but wow.
Who's Daniel? People are dying, Carrie.
Like our little boy Daniel.
Dying.
He's not dead yet.
No, but
he certainly will be.
They're dying soon. You won't even believe how soon, but they will die.
And we're going to prevent that? Or what?
Well, that's the goal. Oh. The goal is to keep people from dying and from killing themselves. He went in on that too, on the suicides and stuff, and glossed over it all. And there's one that he mentioned that I think you'll get a kick out of.
Oh boy,
Mr. Carey. We've talked about it on the show.
Okay,
and it's something that I initially pulled back on, but I now agree with you.
Oh, you mean you didn't? Okay.
At the start.
You had a revelation.
At the start,
okay.
When you first mentioned, I think you told me this a long time ago.
Like a year ago or something like that?
So long. Like
when we first started.
7 days.
What?
Dude, we're coming up on, this will be our we're entering our 3rd year. 2016 is entering our 3rd year.
Oh, my goodness. We started this back in, 2013 or something?
So we're doing, 2F Mr. Producer for Carey.
I've said this over and over again. this also becomes routine. There's a ritual about this whole thing that I have to do. I believe in the Second Amendment. It's there written on the paper.
He's grimacing.
It guarantees a right to bear arms. No matter how many times people try to twist my words around, I talk constitutional law. I know a little bit about this. I get it. But I also believe that we can find ways to reduce gun violence consistent with the Second Amendment.
I'd like to hear that.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
I mean, think about it. We all believe in the First Amendment,
Yes, we do.
the guarantee of free speech,
Yep.
but we accept that you can't yell fire
Wait, I don't accept that.
in a theater.
I do not accept that. I don't accept
There's
that.
more of this clip, but I want to
I didn't
stop it
talk
right
about
here.
this 7 days ago. We did talk about this a long time ago.
I want to stop the clip right there because this was, as soon as he said it, I was going to text you and blow you up about it. I'm like, no. Then we'll hold this for the show.
Yes, hold it for the show. So, should
we
I
all agree.
Should I recap?
Well, I don't know if you can because Obama just said we all agree.
Well, that's a lie because I don't agree.
He said we all agree.
What does he mean by we? Let's not be talking about me. And what does he mean by all?
Is it a friend in his pocket? We? What?
Not
you French?
all. Not all. Because I would be under the umbrella of all. So for those of you who've been listening to Smith Radio since the beginning, you've probably heard this rant of mine or whatever, this explanation. I believe, well, first of all, if you want to take the Constitution, Bill of Rights, literally, then yes, you can yell fire in a theater, literally. If you don't want to take it literally because you want to have an exception such as yelling fire in a crowded theater, then you can invent exceptions for anything. You could just throw the entire amendment out the window because we could just make up exceptions for everything. So I'm not saying that you should be allowed to yell fire in a crowded theater because of the slippery slope argument, because that could be construed as a fallacy. No, what I'm saying is let's think about this. What is it? What are we doing when we're yelling fire in a crowded theater, and what are the results of it? You know, the understanding is, and there probably have been instances over the years of somebody screwing around and yelling fire in a crowded theater back in like the 1800s when there was actually a serious risk of your life over something like that.
Everything caught on fire back then. The whole city of Chicago burnt down because of Bessie the cow. She knocked over the lantern.
Oh,
it burnt the whole city down.
Right, so things were made out of wood everywhere back then.
And there was hay laying around everywhere to catch on fire.
And fabric was like doused with gasoline. It was like napalm everywhere. For real. So
the coloring in the dye for clothes was an accelerant for fire.
Probably. Right. I could see that. The dye, right? Everything, right? So there was obviously a very serious concern at some point. Hey, by the way, if the argument against the Second Amendment is that, that was so long ago, things have changed.
We've evolved.
If that's true, then can't I make the same argument about the flammability of everything in our world today? Because back then, everything was flammable.
And today,
it's not.
Right.
So can't I make the argument that we can no longer limit the First Amendment to yelling fire in a crowded theater when you're probably not going to get anybody to move? I challenge everybody in here right now to go ahead, go to your local theater. How about? I see this look on your face. Brian has the liability blinders going on. He is freaking out right now. Seriously, I challenge you all right now. Maybe you shouldn't do this. Brian's like, no, don't do it. We're going to be all in prison. We're going to get sued.
Do it.
All right. So
what I wanted to do,
the fire in the crowded theater challenge.
I was going to call you this week
and do it.
No, and say, hey, film me. I'm going to do this thing.
Right.
Okay,
so guess what's really popular right now?
Would that not go viral?
I'm sure. So, okay.
Smith Radio screams fire in a theater.
Not just any theater. A theater showing the new Star Wars movie. You know that place is jammed.
I might get beat up.
Right, because of the what do they call these people? Fanboys. The fanboys